McDonald's Happy Meal featuring Santa Claus, coloring, or storybooks. We're talking McDonald's. Hit it. It was the 1980s. John Landis directed Michael Jackson's Thriller video. Wendy Carlos scored Tron. Jam had a hit cartoon. And McDonald's filled our stomachs, provided great Christmas tie-ins, and warmed our hearts with commercials. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me are two McDonald Land Gang characters. My first guest is a Totally Rad Christmas all-star. You'll know him from Huey and Bax. It's Vinnie Brzezinski. Vinnie, how's it going?
Good, Jerry. How are you doing?
You know, man, I've had a nice Sunday, so I can't complain.
I mean, I hear my stomach getting fatter thinking about this episode, so I'm kind of excited about it.
The arteries are clogging a little bit.
Oh yeah, I might need to get some blood pressure meds after this.
I hear you. Oh man, but my next guest is brand new to the show. From Holidays After Dark, it's Kristin Searing. Kristin, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to be here for the first time.
I know we were planning something, and I had a cool comic lined up, but then I couldn't find a good copy. I only found it on like a crazy website that was a little sketch, and so we kind of pushed it back. And so I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, like I said, I am super excited. You're one of the first Christmas podcasters that welcomed me to the gang, so I feel like it's much overdue.
I agree. But on that note, I want to give our listeners a little chance to get to know you guys. So here's a brand new segment I'm calling Hit Me with the Toaster. So here, this is where you guys, I'm going to ask you a question, and you guys are just going to hit me with the first answer that you can think of. All right. So what is and we'll go in this order. We'll go Kristin and then Vinnie. What is your favorite 80s movie?
My favorite 80s movie would be The Breakfast Club.
Nice.
That's what I was gonna say. So do I have to go somewhere else? So do I have to go somewhere else here? Let me go one off here, and it's gonna be a weird one, and I'm not as weird as it sounds, but the original Red Dawn. I used to watch that as a kid.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's good.
Well, sorry for stealing your answer.
Oh no worries. I had an 80s themed wedding, and when we walked out, the last song we had was "Don't Forget About Me."
Yeah.
Okay.
We both did the Judd Nelson fist pump, and we walked out. But yeah.
All right. What would you say is your favorite 80s TV show?
I don't know that I have. So disclaimer, I was not alive in the 80s.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I honestly don't know that I have one. I can't even, maybe if like you threw some at me, I could identify, but yeah, unfortunately, I was born in 1991, so I don't know that I have a favorite
she's a youngin'
TV show.
That's okay. What about you, Vinnie?
Oh, G.I. Joe. Don't even have to think.
Perfect.
Don't even have to think twice, right?
Perfect.
I mean, I was starting to get in the sitcoms by the end of the 80s, like Alf and stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, I watched G.I. Joe religiously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, especially on Cartoon Network. Oh, man. Or not Cartoon Network, the Cartoon Express on USA.
In USA, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, favorite 80s song?
Oh, Lord. I am not prepared with this.
That's the point of this one. I just want to see what first thing you can think of.
I think Green Day technically formed in the late 80s, the band in 1989, I believe. So I'm just going to go like blanket, like first Green Day album, because, that's probably about as close as I can get.
Okay. All right. Green Day's solid. What about you, Vinnie?
It depends on the day and the mood and the genre.
Yeah.
But my new feel is I love Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Right on.
It's my, I normally go to, and Sean and Gus would approve, but I normally go to Tears for Fears, but I think today I'll go Dexy's Midnight Run. I love the intro to that song. So it's so gets me all pumped up when I hear it.
It's a good one.
I feel like one of Elton John's like top hits or something had to have come out in the 80s, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Elton John lately, and I never know like the timeline of when his stuff was released. Because I feel like he's released so much stuff that just like fell on the wayside.
Sad song says so much. That's from the 80s.
Yeah, that's about as good as I've got.
That's okay. I'll take it. Okay, so this one might be hard for you. Favorite 80s toy. This is the last one.
Favorite 80s toy.
Right.
So growing up, I was a big Star Wars fan. I mean, I am still a big Star Wars fan.
Right on.
So I'm going to venture to guess that some of the early Star Wars things, toys, whatever, were, came out in the 80s because to go with the timeline of the movies. So I'm going to say all Star Wars memorabilia. I had a huge box of Star Wars toys growing up. I still have a few pieces of it. So
all right. Well, when we finally cover the Star Wars holiday special, I'll have to hit you up.
Oh yeah.
Do we really want to cover that one?
I don't know if I want to, but I feel like I have to just because of the timeline.
Yeah. It's so bad you have to.
I know. Yeah. All right. What about you, Vinny?
I'm probably gonna have to go with either Optimus Prime or Megatron. Right?
Okay.
So I mean, they're both, but I mean, this when you were a kid, I was like, what, 6, 7 when they came out. The fact that they were a truck and then turned into a robot, it blew my mind.
Blew your mind, right? Yeah, just like right on. All right, so there you have it, guys. That is our guests and everything you wanted to know about them. Everything important, anyway. So on that note, let's dive in. So we're talking McDonald's tonight.
Hope we're going to a New Year's Eve party.
I'd prefer an office party.
I want to go to a school Christmas party.
McDonald's Chicken McNuggets 20-pack, the life of any holiday party.
How do I look?
Delicious.
Golden brown is your color.
Whoopee! Let's go to a sleigh ride party.
It's a good time for the great taste.
Parties. That's all you 20-packs ever think of.
Of McDonald's.
Time for McDonald's gift certificates. 50 cents each or a book of 10 for $5.
What would you guys say is your history with McDonald's? Like, what do you remember about them? Kristin, why don't we start with you?
Sure. McDonald's was a pretty big staple of my childhood, I guess you would say. So I grew up in a very small town, like 5,000. I think they've gotten up to like 7,000-ish people. And McDonald's was pretty much the one restaurant that we always had in town. And when I say that, because like we couldn't even maintain a Dairy Queen type thing. Like we had one for a few years and then it closed, which is pathetic. But so I mean, it was, eating it as a kid, going there after school, going there after sports practices or before sports practices. One of those just kind of, okay, mom and dad don't have anything planned for dinner tonight because everyone's crazy busy. So that's what we're going to eat. I've always been a big fan of the Happy Meal toys. And even to this day, I'll, check and see what the current Happy Meal toy is and if it's worth snagging. But yeah, I feel like not to get ahead on what we might talk about later, but I just feel like it was really just that stereotypical like American kid, like, okay, what's the go-to? McDonald's. And because of that, it has a huge nostalgia factor. It's one of those things where like no matter where you are in the country, you're gonna get the same thing, and it kind of always takes me back to that little piece of childhood. I mean, I can still remember after figure skating practice going through the drive-through and getting a strawberry milkshake and some fries and whatever. So it's one of those like places that I love to hate kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's no culinary masterpiece, as we all know.
Right.
Not great for you. But at the end of the day, sometimes when you're just like in the need of something that you know what it's going to taste like and it's quick and it's pretty cheap, that's the go-to. So yeah, me and McDonald's go way back.
Right on. Vinny?
Yeah, so my town was even smaller.
Oh, wow.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Like, but we only had like 3 fast food joints. We didn't even get like a Taco Bell until like 98. 97. I think I was in high school. So we had McDonald's, we had Burger King, and we had Arby's, right? So I didn't go to it all the time, right? But it always felt like it was, hey, this was a place we would go to for celebrations. When I say celebrations, or maybe I had a good thing at the doctor, good doctor visit.
Right. Yeah.
Holidays.
That was nice.
Holidays you would always go to. Halloween, Christmas. You would go get the things, you get the toys, or mostly to get the toys, right? If I did good on a report card, you did good on a report card. Hey, look, let's go get the toys. See if you can get your collection. All this kind of stuff. Jerry and I are probably old enough to remember the old playgrounds.
Yes. Oh, those are awesome.
They were, fun, but I felt like every time I left, I was hurt.
I always just kind of feel like I needed to take a shower after I left.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And I don't think I've had one of mine there, but I don't know if you remember too, Jerry. They used to have like party rooms.
They did, yeah.
Pizza Hut and like McDonald's had party rooms. And people like
it's the craziest thing to think about.
And you would have people going in and they'd be like, hey, we're having a birthday party. It's like, cool, where's it at? McDonald's. We're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza Hut, cool. Yeah. But yeah, it was not anymore, right? Because now it's like that McCafe and do whatever. But that was huge in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like right there with you. The earliest fast food I remember is McDonald's. Now my town was a bit bigger. I think when I was in high school, we were at like 35,000, but that was, again, I guess the census, I guess it would have been by 1990 would have been 35,000 or something. But either way, like I just remember loving it, always wanting to go because they had the coolest tie-ins and the coolest toys, right? So I remember they had like the little Muppet Babies toys.
Kermit, surf's up! When you buy McDonald's Happy Meal featuring Muppet Babies, you get one of 4 Muppet Babies figures.
Including one.
Each comes with a push toy different Muppet Babies can share. You can collect all 4 Muppet Babies at McDonald's.
I remember they had Berenstain Bears toys.
McDonald's presents the Berenstain Bears.
Once upon a time, there were 2 children whose parents took them to McDonald's. The children each got a Happy Meal. The boxes looked like our Bear Village buildings. And inside were, guess what? Little Berenstain Bears. Me with my wheelbarrow.
There's me and my scooter. And me and my wagon.
And Mama with her cart.
Gee, Papa, could that really happen?
Only if you believe in people.
The lovable Berenstain Bears, only at McDonald's.
They had like all sorts of cool stuff. And if you were lucky, they'd have like maybe a little Transformer or Hot Wheels. Remember they used to have Hot Wheels and just all sorts of cool stuff. And the food was okay. I mean, you're right.
The fries were legit, right?
The fries are good.
I agree with Kristin. The strawberry milkshake was always my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But Jerry, were you old enough to remember the styrofoam?
Yes, I do remember the styrofoam. Well, I'm only, I think, a month. I think you and I are actually like about a month apart.
Well, I don't remember when they went away, right? So I remember they were out for a while. I remember the styrofoam. They used to have a BLT.
They did. Yeah, I think so.
I actually had the BLT toy.
Yes. So yeah, it was like 87 or 88. And there's a cool website where you can like pick the year and it'll tell you what the Happy Meal toys were for that year.
Cool.
But
nice.
Yeah, and I'll send that to you guys if you're curious. But so I had they were like McDonald's food.
Yep.
That would transform like Transformers.
It's like a Transformer. Yep.
Yeah. And so I had them. I actually still have a few. They're my kids play with them. But I remember some of them are in those styrofoam containers, like the hot cakes. And it was like just a white, long, almost rectangular box. I mean, it was just strange. But it's just one of those. It was always there and you always wanted to go. And we tried when we could. And I remember when I grew out of a Happy Meal was like one of the saddest days ever, when like a Happy Meal didn't fill me anymore.
That's when you have to get 2.
That's right. I would have, but
speaking of going there, like for a good report card or whatever, at my elementary school, we had this thing called the McLimo, where if you like were in 4th through 6th grade, I believe, every quarter, the straight A's kids got to go on the McLimo, which is a legitimate limousine with a McDonald's emblem on the side, and they would drive you around town and then take you to McDonald's. And that was like the pinnacle of success.
Yeah.
Like when you got to go on the McLimo, you had made it in life.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go a few times, and you always just felt like the biggest like baller kid in school because you got to come back to class like with your drink from McDonald's, and Yeah, so that's a fun.
cool.
Yeah.
I was hoping to
have
see
that.
this Mick limo. I was Googling it to see if I could find it. I'm not seeing it out there.
I think it's like a Muscuda, Illinois, like novelty. I'm pretty sure they still do it to this day, which I've never met anyone else that has
Does the limo have
it.
like McDonald's on it? Like
It has like, I think it's like a temporary logo, like one of those
Oh,
like
right,
that
right.
you can just stick. But it had like the M on the side of it, and it was usually like a white stretch. It's the only time I've ever been in a limo in my life. So yeah.
That's cool. See, we didn't have anything like that. I mean, we had Book It from Pizza Hut, but that was about it.
Yeah. We
You
had
know?
that too.
Oh man. But so McDonald's, I mean, the Happy Meals were really cool because I guess when we were mostly growing up, it was a lot of just like a red box. But then they started, changing it. So like when the Berenstain Bears were the toys, they actually would draw all over the sides, and they would have different things like sometimes little games you could play or little cutouts you could cut out and use the actual Happy Meal container to play with as like a play set. And that just blew my mind as a kid. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever because not a whole lot of toys did that. Most toys would have the logo in the front and like usually some sort of airbrushed art, and then on the back they kind of had like a picture of the toy. So it's not like every single one could do that. So the fact that McDonald's could do that, I thought that was like so cool. It was like the toy plus a play set, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was kind of like Jerry. We're going to show our age here again. It was kind of like the cereal boxes, right?
Yeah.
Remember cereal boxes on the back used to have games and toys.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same way, right?
Yeah.
So it was, you would go there, you would get. Now I think some of them would come with like little coloring books and stuff like that, depending on when you went. But yeah, I remember drawing on them. But it was that and cereal boxes. I'd always be like, always get my fill with those two.
So what was y'all's favorite thing to get, like food wise? What was your favorite food?
McNuggets, and it's still McNuggets.
Yeah,
like I know
absolutely.
I know it's not real meat, and I get it.
It's real-ish meat.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that sweet and sour sauce is my favorite. Like that's the only sauce I will get.
That's a good one. It is a good one.
And I use it on my fries too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but with the barbecue sauce, and I'll dunk those fries in that sauce. Oh man,
who needs ketchup?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that, as I was doing research for and watching commercials here, I had forgotten that McDonald's had like specialty sauce, like in the Christmas of I think '87.
Yes, I noted that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like there was an apple cinnamon sauce for the nuggets, and then there was a cranberry orange sauce. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Dip into the holiday spirit with something new. McDonald's Holiday Chicken McNuggets in festive 9 and 20-piece packs. Tasty chunks of chicken and 2 new sauces. Tangy cranberry with a twist of orange and sweet apple spiced with cinnamon. Better chime in before holiday McNuggets are gone.
They both sound terrible for my McNuggets. Like I'm not gonna. I mean, maybe the cranberry.
Yeah, I would try the cranberry long before the apple cinnamon.
And I love me some apple cinnamon. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going on my fried goodness. I mean,
No.
the cranberry
that's dessert.
one. Yeah, I mean, I get because of like Thanksgiving we eat cranberry sauce with turkey, so that one makes sense. The apple cinnamon one, you're right. It sounds like dessert, and it seems like they were going for a savory sweet kind of thing. I don't know, but I kind of want to try it.
You're gonna laugh at me, guys, though, but I always used to think the McNuggets looked like stockings.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Like my Christmas nerd always come out and be like, "Look, it's a stocking." But yeah, they do.
And it's disappointing when you just get like one of the like boring like oval
it's
ones.
It's just completely egg shaped, just round.
Lame.
Yeah. and then like that stocking, the bottom half of would look like the bottom of the stocking fit perfectly into that dipping sauce. Like it was like barely enough, but it would scooch through.
See, I always turned it around and used the foot part as the handle. And I would scoop it like that. That's how I would do it.
It's like, which end of the candy cane do you start with first?
That's right,
when you eat one, like the hook or the straight? And it's like a age-old debate.
Yeah, same thing. Like, which one do you prefer? As a kid, though, I always liked the round ones just because they fit better in my mouth at the time. Now it's like, oh, I don't care. I'll eat whatever, and I can shove like 3 or 4 nuggets in my mouth, But like at the time, I was like, oh, okay, this is the perfect one for me. And
well, then also the size quantities, right, were weird. It was like 6, 9, and 20. Like it's like,
yeah,
you'd think they would make like maybe 6, goes half dozen, and if you want to do 20, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, do you want a 6-piece, a 9-piece, or a 20-piece? It's just like, well, there's not much difference between the 6, the 9, and the 6, and it's just like, well, now I have a 20, and then you felt like a hog if you ate the 20 by yourself.
Guilty. I'm guilty of that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nowadays, now they like have standardized it. So you get if you get a combo, it's like a 10-piece, but you can buy 6-piece, or I think in a Happy Meal, it's like 4 or 6.
Yeah.
And of course, then they go up from there. But 10 makes so much more sense than like 9. Just 10's a nice round number. Why 9? That's such a weird choice. I don't know.
Well, and I don't know if this is still how it is, but at one point I know that if you went from a 4 to a 6, it took you from Happy Meal to Mighty Kids Meal.
Oh,
yeah. Which I think your fry was then bigger, your drink was bigger or something. I don't know, but I'm not sure if they still have that distinction, but
I don't think so. I know you can specify if you want the 4 or the 6, but as far as I can tell, whenever I bought them for my kids, it seems like it's just 6 nuggets instead.
Yeah, and then they try to push those apple slices on you, or the Go-Gurt or whatever they have at the time.
Okay, so I want to get into the Christmas, but before we do, let's talk about the characters really quickly, because McDonald's actually had a whole show. It was like a McDonald Land thing that started, I think, in like 1971, around there.
Get yourself ready for a trip through McDonald Land.
They introduced, of course, Ronald McDonald. They had the mayor, Mayor McCheese. They had Officer Big Mac.
They had a
the professor.
Pirate?
Yeah, they had a pirate. Yeah, Captain Crook was his name.
Yeah,
always trying to steal the fillet of fish, I guess.
And there was I don't know if they came later, but the Fry Guys.
The Fry Guys. There was
like
the
the little like moppy things.
Yeah, I never got what they were, honestly. I never understood it, but they were kind of cool. I liked it. They actually had Christmas ornaments of the Fry Guys later on in like 87, 88.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they're out there. You can find them, but they're a little bit hard. So Ronald McDonald, of course, the mascot, created in 1963 played by Willard Scott. Have you seen pictures of the original Ronald McDonald?
No.
It is creepy. Like you think of like creepy clown, and like that's the pictures there. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'll send it to you real quick. It is just like, whoa, what is this guy?
Is he wearing a cup on his nose?
He's wearing a cup on his nose. Yes.
That's nightmare material.
And it is Willard Scott. Look at that. They're not even joking.
No, yeah, he played Bozo the Clown, and then he played Ronald McDonald, and he tried to at first differentiate him because I guess there's like some sort of clown code where you try not to like rip off another clown's look and shtick. I don't know. I'm not a clown. I don't know. But apparently he tried to, make it as different as possible. He's got the cup on his nose. He's got like a big old hat that's like a tray with stuff on it. And eventually, I think about a couple of years later or something, they streamlined his look and we get the more traditional looking Ronald with the red hair. I like Ronald McDonald. Some of the other characters were a little questionable to me, but Ronald is like my guy,
All right. So serious question.
Okay.
We used to have one in there was one of the McDonald's, right?
Uh-huh.
You can't tell me you weren't creeped out by him when you saw him in person.
A little
absolutely.
bit. Yeah, a little bit for sure.
I mean, look, I don't like clowns in the first place, but
did it ruin that for you?
Well, no, but it was just like I saw this guy and like he was tall, just like, well, you always think Ronald's tall because he's always around kids, I guess. But
right.
This guy was tall and like he was probably like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" at the time, and it's just like, nah, I'm good over here. Like,
yeah, I think I'm usually okay with him. Like when I'm watching like commercials and whatever, until he starts talking, and then it just always gets like next level. I don't know. It's just weird stuff that would never in a million years fly as far as the things that he says and the undertones of the commercials. And not that McDonald's necessarily had a creeper intention, but that's definitely, at least from my perspective, when I was going back and watching all of them, I was like, man, these undertones are next level.
I'm pretty sure they never intend to have a creeper undertone, but
I was like, the 80s were a wild place.
Yes, they were. That's true. The 80s were a wild place. But okay, so Ronald McDonald, he was like, my favorite. But then we had, I guess, some of the more popular ones, Grimace, who apparently is a taste bud.
Is that what he is? I never knew that.
That's what he is. When he first came out, he was like evil. He was like an evil Grimace, and he had 4 arms. And then they took off his 2 of his arms and made him more lovable as they kind of started streamlining him in the mid 80s. And but it's like not McDonald Land without Grimace,
No. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to throw another psych reference at you, but that's Gus's favorite. Gus loves it.
That's right.
He claims Grimace.
Yeah. That's right. And Grimace has an uncle that I was learned about when I was researching these characters. Yeah, it's like it's Uncle O'Grimacy or something like that, who's green, and he's the one that brought the Shamrock Shake.
Uncle O'Grimacy.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Oh. He would only visit 1 month per year around St. Patrick's Day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did I not know that today?
I didn't either. I don't remember Uncle O'Grimacy, but seeing him, I'm like, I kind of wish I saw him more.
Hello, boys. I'm back, and I'm painting everything green to match me Shamrock Shakes.
But now we're gonna see if like there's commercials with him or anything. I want to like dive into Uncle O'Grimacy. Of course, we get Birdie, the early bird, who was created around 79, 80-ish. I think might have been 1980, to promote some of their new breakfast items. So early bird breakfast, haha, get it?
Makes sense.
Yeah, but she's another one that it feels like you have to see, otherwise it doesn't feel like McDonald Land.
Yeah, this says she's a skilled karate teacher, which is a interesting fun fact about her.
Yeah,
so she's an early riser, and she can kick your butt. And
hey, I'll take it. I don't mind. I like strong women. Then of course the Hamburglar is another mainstay. Like those are the ones like my core group, at least for me. I know, of course, like I mentioned, we had Mayor McCheese, we had the other guys, but to me it was like I needed the Hamburglar, Grimace, and Birdie to kind of round out. And then we got the Fry Kids, the Fry Guys, and then in 86, I believe, we had the Nugget Buddies or McNugget Buddies, who were my favorites. Those guys were so cool.
They had a good, I know we're not talking New Year's, but they had a cool New Year's commercial, if I remember.
They do, yeah.
Correctly.
They do have a cool New Year's commercial, and it's all about going to the party, and they're and I think it's because of that commercial that they started releasing the McNugget Buddy toys and the Happy Meals.
Yep.
And so they had some, they were like just a little nugget with the, the eyes, the mouth, and everything. And oh, by the way, apparently the McNugget Buddies were created by the professor who discovered a way to animate and bring to life food. But anyway, so and like I think in the early 90s they had like Halloween versions. There was like a Dracula McNugget, Frankenstein witch, but then they also had like cop McNugget Buddy and a fireman and all sorts of other things like that, which was pretty cool. So
yeah, I've been collecting the Funko Pop vinyls of the McDonald's little characters. So I have a few. Yeah, I have a few of the McNugget Buddies. I have like the rock star.
Nice.
I have Birdie. I work in law enforcement, so on my desk at work, I have the Hamburglar. I have Mayor McCheese. Nice. But yeah, I've been enjoying the. It's kind of like the modern way of still keeping those things around.
Yeah, everything's a Funko Pop now, which is nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the Hamburglar had the greatest catchphrase, "Rubble, rubble." I mean, everyone at some point has said "rubble, rubble." Like even if like someone said something stupid to you when you were young, you were just like "rubble, rubble," and you just
and you can quote me on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got like the Fry Kids, who I guess were originally goblins, like Fry Goblins or something. Then they became
They
the
kind
Fry.
of remind me of Cubert.
They were like the Fry Guy. Yeah, they do kind of remind of Cubert. They have that same vibe where it's just like a round body with like legs, big eyes. They were the Fry Guys. Then when they introduced the girls, they just became the Fry Kids. And I do remember the girls. Do you remember like in the play places, the playgrounds, how they used to have like teeter-totters and stuff with the Fry Kids on them?
I don't remember that one. I do not.
Yeah, so it was like or not teeter-totter, a rocking horse maybe, something like that. It had like the central spring on it, and then it had the body, and you'd sit on it, and the front, the head was usually one of the Fry Kids, or like a burger. I think they had a fillet of fish as well, and it had like a fish body that you would sit on with the saddle.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember those. It's one of those things like you can't fall down, you can lean all sorts of directions.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. It is a Fry Kid. Yeah.
Another one that stood out to me is I didn't know Ronald had a dog named Sunday, apparently.
What?
Yeah.
But he only made one appearance in The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, which debuted in 1998. But I do not remember Sunday the dog.
I don't either. Yeah, that one's completely past me.
Oh, it's a creepy dog too.
It says he hates tricks. And he has a conflict with the Hamburglar.
What does that mean? He hates performing tricks, or
I
he
don't.
just hates tricks
It
played on
literally
him?
just says he hates tricks. I don't know. This sounds like a testy dog.
I know. Oh man, yeah. But they had some fantastic characters. I know that there was like a lawsuit that kind of happened because they originally were going to try to license HR Puffin stuff, and there was a big to do about that. They decided to pull out, and so then they created Mayor McCheese, which the creators of Puffin Stuff felt was too similar to that. And I believe they were actually ordered to pay. I think McDonald's had to pay like a lot of money to continue with Mayor McCheese. But yeah, we had Mayor McCheese, we had Officer Big Mac, the professor. There was something called Hamburger Patch, which I don't remember, but it's just a lot of cool. Oh, there was Mac Tonight. Do you remember Mac Tonight?
I do remember Mac Tonight. Yes.
He's like this jazz pianist,
and he had like a little song, "Make it a Mac Tonight." Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he would take like the theme or the jingle, and he kind of jazzed it up.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden lights. It's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac Tonight. Come on, make it Mac Tonight.
But he had like a big old, his head was a moon. It was like a crescent moon, and he had his sunglasses. And speaking of nightmare fuel, Mac Tonight is pretty much up there. He looks crazy. But I was watching some of those commercials too, and it's like, man, Mac Tonight, I miss that. There was like that big push. It was like there was a decade between like the late 80s and like late 90s there, where they were trying to really push like adult late night, the Late Show with David Letterman and jazz and that kind of thing. And
it's weird if you go back through this, Jerry. It's I was just Googling stuff to do some research, and there was a clip. It was like all the McDonald's commercials from 85 through 86, and there was like 20 of them. Like, so they used to do so many of them, and it's just like every time you keep saying something, I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. But it was the commercials in general were huge. Like it's every time you would see it, you'd be like, mom, and that had to be a parent's worst nightmare in the 80s. was a McDonald's commercial, because you knew after they saw the commercial, you knew in the next week you were going where you were going.
Oh yeah. Well, and so they would try to show them like during the cartoons, if they could, because that would get that would get us to bug our parents to take us.
Yeah, I just find it interesting, like how, like with those commercials, especially like just how like holiday centric McDonald's used to be.
Yeah.
And now they really barely seem to acknowledge like Christmas, especially like at all.
Right.
Or if so, it's like here's a Mariah Carey meal, and that's like our acknowledgement of this year kind of thing.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure was either this year or the year before. So it's just like fascinating to me going back and watching that, like they used to cash all in.
Out. Yeah.
I mean, even like the packaging on the McNuggets like looked like you were unwrapping a present, and like I thought it was fascinating. I'm like, man, why don't they do any of that stuff anymore? Like I would buy it just for the box that it comes in, but
my guess is once they rebranded with that McCafe stuff, I feel like it all went away. Like I felt like they were just like, we're gonna try for the kids were cool, but I think we have a more with coffees and all this other kind of stuff and lunch. We can probably get a better crowd from. Because the reason I say this, they just put up a McDonald's about a mile from me, and like they have a playground, which is cool, but right when I saw McDonald's and it said McCafe, I'm like,
yeah, whichever one of y'all sent that video to the Twitter group, I thought it was fascinating, the evolution of how they started kid-based and then have transformed, because it's something that you don't necessarily like readily think about on a daily basis, but it really is true when they break it really down.
Yeah.
They used to be 100% about the kids, and now it's like, whatever. Come here, don't.
I mean, do they still even have the pies? Like the pies were the jam back in the day too.
I think they do.
It would be like in those little sleeves. Like, like
scalding hot.
Yeah. Burn your mouth.
You can't feel the roof. You feel like the little skin off the top of your mouth just because it burned it so bad.
Yeah, it was kind of like the original Hot Pocket, right? You would go, you'd be like, oh, it's not that hot, and you bite into it, and your tongue would be burnt.
Oh man, that brings me back to my college days. Hot Pocket. But speaking of commercials, let's go ahead and dive into some of these commercials because there's a ton of them. I mean, I feel like I remembered 3, and then you started posting a bunch. Like, remember this one? And all of a sudden I was like, yeah, of course I remember that one. And then I'd find another one. Oh wait, I remember this one too. You're right. They like really, really went all in on the Christmas, which was kind of cool. And it is a shame that it's gone, but at least we have these to kind of remember. And I know that they played that some of them for quite a few years afterwards.
And I feel like the Christmas commercial in the 80s was a big thing, just like the Christmas episode of the sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can go back to any 80s sitcom and there was always normally a Christmas show.
At least one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, not everyone might have done it, but like Burger King used to do them. I think Pizza Hut used to do them. And the big one where I grew up was the Pennsylvania Lottery, and it's still a big commercial. Like like their commercials were the worst, but they were so catchy. But they would do it. But
I mean,
but it's a lost art. Like it was. You would literally wait for the Halloween one. You would wait for the Christmas one every single year. At least I remember until I was probably in junior high, 13, 14.
Right.
But they used to repurpose some of the ones because the ones you're going to go over here in a second are classic. Right. I mean, I'm sure you can still show them today, and everyone would be like, "Oh, I remember that." It would be a huge hit on national TV if you played it.
Yeah, and because they would play them all the time. Saturday mornings, they'd play them. They'd also show them during prime time through some. I remember watching Moonlighting and seeing some of these McDonald's commercials during episodes of Moonlighting. It's like just random stuff, but that's a testament to like how big McDonald's is as a company. What was it? 1 million served or something back in the day. That was like their big thing. I mean,
yeah.
Who knows how many it is now? I'm sure it's ridiculous amounts. But yeah, so let's dive into some of these bigger commercials, and then we'll kind of talk about some of the small ones too. And if there's one that you really sticks out to you, like Kristin, you mentioned that McNugget one. They really, really tried to push McNuggets as like an actual gift.
When you're out shopping for the best this busy holiday season, don't forget McDonald's Chicken McNuggets. McNuggets come from only the best cuts of chicken. Plump, tender breast, or juicy thigh. At McDonald's, we know when you use the best cuts of chicken, you get the best nuggets. McDonald's Chicken McNuggets.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
You know, not even just like bring it to a holiday party. No, it was like give the gift of McNuggets.
Yeah. And they
hope-
also seemed obsessed with pushing like gift certificates
yes.
as a gift, which to me it's so funny because I feel like nowadays if you like gave someone a McDonald's gift card as a gift, they'd be like, "Wow, you really didn't try." Like
you really cheaped out on me.
Yeah, like one of those like, "Oh, I need something for my coworkers." Like
they were the jam back in the day. Jerry, do you remember you get them for like rewards in school?
Yeah, and you were just like, "Whoa!" You know,
and I mostly remember them at Halloween. That's the most of the time we get them. People would give them like for as gifts and stuff like that. Not so much Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those were, and it's funny because they go in 50-cent increments. Imagine having being able to go in with 50-cent increments.
$100, $1, $50, $2.
Yeah.
Just counting
random.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those where this commercial, you're right. It has like this gorgeous like red box with designs on it, and they're talk about try to give it to your dad or something. I mean, it's just it's so random. But can you imagine if like there was a kid that really wanted to get his a parent that for Christmas? Like, would a child know to put it in the fridge and then bring it out on Christmas?
Let's be honest, you probably don't have to put McNuggets in the fridge. You could probably leave them out for a week or two and they'll be fine. It's just like pizza, right?
Yeah.
Pizza could be left out for 4 days and it'll be fine.
Yeah, didn't they do that with like a McDonald's hamburger patty where they like let it set out for like a year and it really didn't change that much?
Oh, jeez.
I remember that. It was like a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like McNuggets really like transport well or hold up well. So if you're gonna get that gift, it better be like
eat it
instantaneous.
That night.
Yeah. I don't even know that the best air fryer in the world could revive those.
But Jerry, of all the ones you sent, do you actually remember that box? I don't remember that box.
I do remember
those.
Box.
Do you? I don't.
But only from the commercial. I don't remember actually.
I don't remember the commercial.
I only remember from the commercial. Yeah.
Maybe I time warped through 86 or 87, whenever that was. Like, because I remember I would have probably tried those sauces, but like I don't remember the sauces either. Like that's.
See, I don't think I don't think I would have tried the sauces as a kid, which is such a shame because now, like, I want to try those sauces so bad. They sound intriguing, if nothing else, like just so I could say I had it once,
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, I missed my chance.
I mean,
but I think it's because the McNuggets were invented in 79 by the McDonald's executive chef, but they didn't become a staple across like nationwide until 83. And so 83 is like usually credited as the year when McNuggets were brought forth, even though they were invented earlier. And so it was like they were really trying to push those McNuggets, hence the McNugget Buddies, hence, this give the gift of McNuggets for Christmas. I mean, it's a strange thing, but at the same time, it worked because I was all in on the nuggets. So whatever Kool-Aid they were selling, I was drinking it,
Yeah. I have a cranberry orange chicken recipe that's like one of my go-to favorite meals. So I'm like, I could do that in McNugget form. Like maybe I should just now get some nuggets, make the sauce, and then just use that as the chicken and feel like I'm back in the 80s or something.
That's right. Yeah.
well, Jerry, if you remember, right, they were so large that when Burger King first came out with theirs, it was like the big thing. They're like, oh, we're gonna try to compete, and like never happened.
No,
it's still like Burger King, got their double cheeseburger, which corresponded with the Big Mac.
The Big Mac, right?
But it did their nuggets did not I remember having them. I'm like, nope, I'm good. Like, we'll go back to McNuggets.
I don't even think I had them. I think whenever we'd go to Burger King, I would only get the burger because I was like, no, I can't. I mean, these aren't McNuggets.
Yeah, not even worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a commercial. There was probably the most famous one is either the Star Wish or the ice skating. It's got to be one of those two or as the most famous one. Let's talk about the it's called Happy Holidays. It was the ice skating one. where there's a nice skating going around, and there's a little boy that kind of gets left out, and Ronald goes to skate with him and picks him up, and the look on his face, I feel, is just odd. And I know, again, like you said, no malice, no ill will or anything, no creepy anything. But at the same time, it's the way that red outline of the mouth is painted, that when he smiles and he's looking up at the child, it's just like, oh, I don't like this. It's, I feel like, he'll float down there too or something. But
that's the first one I watched that you sent. And my note about it was, Ronald McDonald is nostalgic yet low-key terrifying.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as a former figure skater myself, I did like that element of it. It was, I think that's where the nostalgia came from. But like you said, next It sequel, they found their guy.
With that said, though, it's like an iconic commercial, though.
Growing up
in the 80s, you look forward to that every year.
Yeah.
It would be that one, Jerry. It would be the Campbell soup commercial.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
It would be like the Fruity Pebbles jingle, right?
Folgers was another one.
Which one?
The Folgers,
Oh, the Folgers. Yeah. But it was iconic. But, looking back on it, you felt bad for the kid because he couldn't skate. And then I just didn't realize now that was like pretty much Bambi was in there too. I didn't realize Bambi was in there. But it was just like, the commercial, what's it's called? This commercial doesn't age well, because I can't imagine if this was made today. Like parents would be happy with some random tall clown was at a pond and no other parents.
Yeah.
But it was every year they talked about McDonald Land, whereas McDonald Land or World
McDonald Land, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that commercial is epic. And I remember if I didn't see it if I didn't see that watching Chip and Scrooge or one of the other cartoons I would watch, I'd be a little bummed.
Right.
That one was around for at least 5 or 6 years. Like I remember
it was on a long time. It was on so long that they shot it with the other actor. I think it was King Moody at first, and then I think they went with that other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But it's, they changed the music, they changed the logo, like they rescored it. I mean, it stuck around, which was pretty cool for a commercial, because most commercials don't stick around. You see it like once or twice and then you forget about it. But I think that one's probably the most iconic, with Star Wish being second, where a star falls out of the sky and Birdie and Grimace want to give it to Ronald as like their present to him. And he's like, well, I mean, it's a star. I can't keep it for myself. Stars are meant for everyone. And so he like throws it back up,
One cold winter's eve, Bertie and Grimace wandered McDonald Land in search of
a gift for Ronald.
Got any bright ideas?
When lo and behold, a little star hopped from the heavens and twinkled down to earth.
Look, Grimace, a falling star.
Ooh, maybe we can catch it.
And so they did.
You'll make the perfect gift for Ronald.
The little star was wrapped and ribboned and given, but
oh dear me,
twinkle it didn't.
You see, Bertie and Grimace, a star can never belong just to me. It belongs way up high for everyone to see. So let's wish him home where it'll twinkle and glow.
And so they did, as they stood in the snow.
Look, the star's back at home in the sky, good as new. And I have the best gift of all, friends like you.
Happy holidays from McDonald's.
That's another one that was like really, really popular. And I know that there was various truncated versions of it, but like that's the one that I remember, the full length one, and it's about a minute long. It's like a full storybook, narrated and everything. But again, we get Bertie and Grimace with Ronald. So I think it's because of that commercial that I really associate those two, especially out of all the rest of the McDonald Land gang. I think that's because of that commercial. I associate those two with my favorites most of all.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was like, aw, like that's a really sweet message, because it is true. And I feel like you have those moments as a kid where you're like outside at night with either your parents or grandparent or whatever, looking up at the stars and just having some philosophical conversation about the universe. And I feel like it definitely hit on that note. So no creeper vibes from that one.
Well, the only creeper vibe I got from a little bit, and maybe it's just me because I'm an animal person, but it's like, how kind of sometimes people for a small amount of times will put like dogs in boxes, and hey, we're gonna do a surprise, which I always thought was horrible. Well, they put the star in the box, and he came out, and he was half dead. And Ronald was like, but he was just like, oh, we just got to get him up there. We got to get him back to everyone else.
Right.
But it was just like, oh man, they suffocated the poor star.
Which, how does that work? It's a ball of gas.
Yeah. I mean, did they poke holes in the Happy Meal box? I mean, what did they do?
You have to.
Great point.
Keep that star alive.
Yeah. That was the only thing that I'm watching it again, and I wouldn't have noticed it back in the day. But I was like, oh man, poor star. And I'm like, I know it's like a drawing, but it's just like I felt bad for it for a minute. Poor star.
Which also gave me like real nostalgic vibes where, before all this computer animated stuff, whenever you were going to have an animated character, it was always hand drawn, just like that one.
And it wasn't terrible. Like for the animation at that time, it's like it could have been worse, but it wasn't. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that one, and then I think probably the next most famous one, we'll hit this and then we'll just touch on the others, but would probably be that Lindsay, the one with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Hi, Lindsay.
Oh, hi, Ronald.
What's new?
Nothing. Everybody says I'm too little.
Really?
I'm thinking of running away to McDonald Land.
McDonald Land? That's where I'm from.
Yeah, I hear it's really nice.
I hear where you're from is really nice, too.
It's okay.
Yeah, because you've got that basketball hoop over your garage and your back porch. It has that great wind chime.
I made that at summer camp.
Plus, there's that beautiful field
where I chase butterflies.
Hey, when you're in McDonald Land, who's going to make the decorations for your dad's birthday party? Who's going to be the snowflake in the school play?
Ronald.
Who's going to feed Mr. Goldfish?
Hey, Ronald, I think I hear my mom calling me.
Oh, okay. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.
She wants to run away to McDonald Land. She finds Ronald McDonald, and he's like, well, but what about your dad? Who's gonna
make his birthday decoration? And what about that basketball hoop in your front yard?
That's right.
Yeah.
And he uses magic, and he makes the icicles do a little something. I mean, it's just it's fun, and I had forgotten about it until I saw it again, and it was I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And she's like, no, I changed my mind.
I think Ronald talked her out of it. Like she was all excited.
Yeah.
She was all excited, and she's like, "Man, I don't want to be around this creeper. I'm gonna go back home."
Well, yeah. Like at first when it started, I was like, "Oh no, where is this going? Like this is all of the stereotypes like coming true right now." And then I was like, "Oh, okay. It's like John Wayne Gacy actually convincing you to to run for
crime junkies.
Yeah. I think just coming from the law enforcement background, I'm like way too jaded when it comes to
Yeah, there's this random dude hanging out in your neighborhood from a different land, building magical snowmen and making wind chimes out of icicles. I mean,
I'm like, where's Neighborhood Watch? Come on.
That's right. Well, although that does remind me, we used to just go out with our friends, just go hang out, and we'd go to like the canal and do all sorts of things. We probably shouldn't go by the railroad tracks, but we weren't supervised. And now it's like, just thinking about my kids doing that, I'm like, no, I've listened to too many true crime podcasts now to, I can't do that. I definitely can't do that. But Ronald's a good guy. We know that. And he'll help nurse a star back to health. So.
Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover.
That's right. That's right. So, we know that he's going to convince the little girl to stay with her own family.
Oh, those were I remember that one. That was the first one that came to my mind.
Oh,
I think that was the first commercial I've seen with McDonald's. Remember it. Now, like I said, the ice skating one I know came before that, but I felt like I just seen it so many times throughout the years.
Right.
Where I remember when I saw it, I'm like, wow, look at the new commercial. My mom was like, no, that's been around for a while. It was the first one I remember is the Lindsay one.
I gotcha. And then there was like the one with Scrooge where Ebenezer Scrooge is having like a holiday party.
It's the Clauses, everybody. Have a chicken McNugget. Don't worry, it's under 63 calories. Rudy, be a dear and open another 20-pack.
McDonald's Chicken McNuggets 20-pack makes every holiday party happy and fun.
Aren't we having fun? Mingle, mingle. Tiny Tim, tiny as ever. Take two.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Time for McDonald's gift certificates, 50 cents each, or a book of 10 for $5.
That one would not fly today. Like it would not fly. Between him calling Santa fat, right, and then Rudolph, and then him pretty much belittling Tiny Tim. I don't know how that would work today.
Oh yeah. He was like, "Here, take some," and he like pulls it away. I'm like, "Whoa, okay." Yeah. I mean, I know you're just playing with him, but the kid really wanted. You could see, because you could see it in the child actor's face. He was like, "Oh, you took my nuggets away."
I just didn't realize that Scrooge was suddenly so easy to please, and all he needed were some chicken nuggets, and he's good to go.
Ghosts. You don't need any ghosts at all. Just get him some nuggets, man.
Yeah.
Although I kind of feel like that too, because at the store, there's like a McDonald's down the street, and that's pretty much, we only get like 30 minutes for lunch. So pretty much if I forget my lunch, I run to McDonald's. And so I've had McDonald's the last 4 or 5 years more than I probably should have. But, I feel like the same thing. I get hangry and I run to McDonald's, I feel better. So I get it. I get it with Scrooge.
I think this was the first time I've ever remembered any fast food joint ever mentioning a calorie count. Now, I'm sure they took that away really quickly, because I doubt a McNugget is 63 calories. Let's just get that out there. That breading alone.
Let's add like 1,000 to that or something.
Yeah. But he was like, "Oh, they're only 63 calories." And I'm watching that and I'm like, ooh, I fast food places, I mean, they do now to a point. I don't know if fast food places do, but
it makes me want to host a Christmas party and like serve McNuggets though. Like I kind of want to try it now, so we'll see.
I mean, I'd be down, but you might get some mixed reactions depending on your audience.
That's true, yeah.
Gary, we host a Christmas party every year. Normally, I know you're working, but if you can make it out, you're bringing the McNuggets.
Yeah,
if you come without McNuggets,
you'll be disappointed.
I might be a little disappointed.
I'll travel down to Texas for that.
Yeah, I'll bring the McNuggets. That's right.
Hey, there's a lot of cool stuff to do for Christmas down here. You should come down. But,
okay.
Yeah,
I love traveling, so.
Right on.
There's a place next to Jerry's that I never knew, but there's like a Mexican restaurant that decks out for Christmas.
Yeah.
I was just like, I never went, and I'm like, I am, beside Jerry, I'm the king of Christmas here in Texas. How did I not know about this?
Y'all just need to host like Christmas Con for Christmas podcasters and have a big party in Texas.
Yeah, we try to do the last couple of years, and last year with work, I just didn't get a chance to really plan it. The year before I was much better, but we try to do like a Christmas podcast, like get together, and it's like, okay, come on this day, whatever. And it's just a Zoom meeting where we all just kind of whatever. And not last year, but the year before, I actually had like a trivia, like a trivia night kind of thing with it. So, but I was a little selfish, and I did it all about stuff from the 80s, stuff I've covered on my show.
I'm gonna have to do more research before that one.
No, that was just a one time. I would do it regular after that, but yeah. So there was that one. We also had some tie-ins. So I think one of the things McDonald's is like best at is being able to like license all these different things. We kind of touched on it with the toys in the Happy Meals, but they licensed it like through Santa Claus the movie. And so they had a couple of different commercials with Santa Claus the movie, and they had coloring books, they had activity books, they had that reindeer ornament, which I think, Vinny, you still have.
I had it. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to all my ornaments. Like the only one I still have from back in the day is my baby's first Christmas. Like I don't know how that thing survived from 1980. That thing's probably the best shape that I have. But I remember I had the reindeer. I had Miss Piggy. I had Miss Kermit. I had Oliver from Oliver and Company. Like I had them all. Where did they go? Like I don't know. But that reindeer I know I had. For sure.
Well, and I want to say we had it too, but I haven't seen it in years. So maybe we did. Maybe we just wanted it and never actually had it. Or maybe my grandma and my aunt had it and they would put it up on their tree. I remember seeing it on our on a tree
yeah.
in our family. I just don't. but every time we've gone back to visit, I never find it. So I have a feeling it was either like on an aunt's or grandma's tree or something, which is a shame because I would have loved to have that as a kid, and I still would love to have it now. So I'm probably going to be hunting on eBay for a lot of these things because they had the Santa Claus the movie ornaments.
In a distant land, Santa's elves are especially busy making you something special. A stuffed reindeer ornament just like the reindeer in the new motion picture Santa Claus the movie.
Good likeness.
And it's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates. So put plenty of both on your Christmas list. McDonald's gift certificates and free reindeer ornaments. Seeing is believing.
They also had ornaments from The Little Mermaid.
Imagine a world beneath the sea with an enchanted McDonald's of pure fantasy, where the Little Mermaid's friend Sebastian and Flounder the fish come to life to grant your holiday wish.
Buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates and get a free plush ornament, either Flounder or Sebastian.
I always knew I'd be famous.
From the all-new Disney animated feature, The Little Mermaid, now in theaters everywhere.
So come to McDonald's, hurry along, like a true fantasy. It's here then, score! Your holiday place, McDonald's.
Christmas ornaments. They had like the Rescuers, I think, Fievel from An American Tail. They had ornaments for that as well. And like McDonald's just really knew how to get all these tie-ins, like lock it down and let's market it. And, we'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. And I mean, it was.
Oh, yes.
They really have it down. Yeah.
Some of the biggest ones for me were like the mini Furbies, the teeny Beanie Babies.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma was a big Beanie Baby collector, so there's definitely nostalgia. And then like the 101 Dalmatians when that came out, and how all the little dogs are sticking their head out of the stocking. But yeah, they knew how to hit like straight on every kid's heartstrings.
Yeah, they really did. And it worked because, like I said, I was all in on Christmas and I was all in on McDonald's, but they also had the Muppet Babies. Like they had plush Muppet Babies. And so they had two commercials. They had an animated Muppet Babies commercial.
McDonald's presents Holiday Huggable Muppet Babies.
Oh, did someone mention a hug, Kermie?
Right now, get your kids Baby Kermit, Baby Fozzie, or Baby Piggy. They're soft and huggable for a special price with any McDonald's food purchase.
Do you know where I could get a hug?
No, but if you sing a little of it, I think I can follow along.
Holiday Huggable Muppet Babies at McDonald's. A portion of the proceeds of each Muppet Baby plush toy will be donated to Ronald McDonald Children's Charities.
Which threw me off a little bit because they don't use the same voice actors that they did from the series.
Yeah.
So I remember being a little like, that's not what Kermit sounds like, but they had like one with the actual plush.
McDonald's presents gifts your kids will love. Holiday Huggable Muppet Babies.
Love 'em, hug 'em, Muppet Babies, hug 'em.
You can get your kids Baby Kermit or Baby Fozzie or Baby Piggy for a limited time only. They're soft and huggable at a special low price with any McDonald's food purchase.
Muppet Babies at our place.
Holiday gifts at a special low price.
Good night, Baby Piggy.
Holiday Huggable Muppet Babies, only at McDonald's for a limited time, so hurry on in.
And those ones I remember as well being pretty cool. I think I had Kermit. And then I do remember that I let my mom sell it in a garage sale. And I completely forgot about it. And then a couple of years ago, I was thinking about some of the ornaments that my parents still had. And I remember just like, hey, yeah, I think we had Kermit. We have that somewhere. And then my mom was like, yeah, we got rid of that. You told me to get rid of it. I thought, what an idiot. I should have kept that.
Jerry, I'm looking here. They also had Christmas plates.
Christmas plates. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the plates, but I don't remember these Christmas ones. They're pretty cool. Santa Claus, McNuggets.
Nice.
All the, but if you remember, Jerry, and I think you introduced it to me this year? Or somebody did on one of the podcasts, but the Muppets Christmas special that was lost, right? Because that was the first time apparently that the Muppet Babies were introduced.
Yes.
And it was the real life ones. It wasn't the actual cartoons.
Right.
So I'm wondering if it just came off that special.
Well, it was from 1988 when they had these they were called the Huggables, the holiday Huggables.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember when the cartoon appeared, but 87 was when that Muppet Family Christmas was released. And you're right, in that one, they actually are looking at old old family films. They have the reel to reel, like that old school, and they hook it up and they're watching it, and it's them as Muppet Babies. But I want to say the Muppet Babies also were in Muppets Take Manhattan, and I don't know which one came first, if it was that one or if it was, remember, because they sing that song, Mama da da whoop whoop shoo-wah-wah, that one.
I do. I might have to go watch that again. It's been forever since I've seen that.
Oh man, I love the Muppets Take Manhattan. I think that was like my favorite non-Christmas Muppet thing, because Muppet Christmas Carol, it's so good.
Absolutely,
it's so good.
Yeah, arguably the best version of a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's Scrooged and a Muppet Christmas Carol all the way.
Oh yeah.
I have to disagree. I'm gonna have to go with the Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah,
well, that one too. Yeah,
that too. Agreed.
But it was funny. I remember watching it. I visited family back in Pennsylvania in January, and I know I used to watch this all the time. And my aunt's like, I don't remember this or Pluto's Christmas Tree. I'm like, how do you not? I wore that VHS tape out. Like, how do you not remember that?
She must have been tuning it out.
She's still mad you stole her very special Christmas album.
That was a different aunt, but no, yeah.
Okay.
It was funny. I remember I put that, and she came back, and she's like, "No, that was your cousin. She stole from you stole from a 5-year-old. How tough do you feel now?" And I'm like, "Oh,
I
was like, sorry."
So some of the tie-ins they had, I just want to briefly mention these. They had Garfield, some Garfield plushes. There was a Garfield in a Santa, a Garfield as an elf. They had an Odie as well with like reindeer antlers. They had Norman Rockwell ornaments, which
you sent that. That's crazy. I want that one.
I had no idea when they had two. There was one in I think 83 and one in 84. Those ones were like metallic. And then the one from like 89 was actually like a bauble that was painted with it wasn't just like a cutout like the other ones were. They had some vinyl ornaments, and I do remember these. Because I remember I wanted these and I never got them. There was vinyl ornaments of like the main McDonald Land characters. I mean, they had, like we said, Oliver and Company ornaments, which I know I had Oliver, but I don't think I had any of the others. I mean, they just had like all sorts of. They had Little Mermaid, like we mentioned, and all these various tie-ins. It's just like I wish I had all these now because they would be on my tree. Like, I don't care about any Hallmark stuff. I want these ones on my tree right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Apparently there was a Beauty and the Beast one. That's later, I guess, in the 90s. I'm just looking at different ones here.
Yeah.
These are all like the best antique store finds. When I go through like an antique mall, I'm literally just like eyes peeled for all things Christmas and the old Campbell's Christmas stuff. And
oh yeah, but they had, I mean, McDonald's was just so cool, but even not just Christmas, but just the rest of the year. They had like the Snoopy glasses.
Yep. Garfield glasses.
Yep.
And so my wife got super excited that they brought back the Halloween pails.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
They were. It was.
We got them all. Yes.
It was such a letdown. It was like if you bought something on Wish or whatever that site was. Like they didn't even have a top to them anymore. Like
yeah, it's just paper.
It was like a little paper thing, but it was just like no.
Oh yeah, I still went to 3 different McDonald's.
So
I did too.
I
did too. Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely not what they used to be. But my 90s Halloween loving heart could not let those go.
Yeah. No. Well, same here. I mean, we had to have them. And are they the same? No. But I feel like if I didn't get them, I was gonna kick myself. Kind of,
yeah.
My favorite toy, Jerry, and I would like to know you guys' favorite toy, McDonald's toy.
Okay.
But I had Red. They had a Fraggle Rock toys.
Yes.
And I had Red. And remember the wheels were like cookies?
Yes.
Oh, I had like when that broke, I remember I was devastated. But I loved Red and I had it, but that beside the Miss Piggy the plush one from the Muppet Babies one.
That
would probably be my favorite Christmas one, but the red Fraggle Rock was my jam.
Right on. I actually had and I still have right now, besides those little Transformer ones that I think were probably my favorites. But I still have the Berenstain Bears. I have all of them, the 4. It's like brother, bear, sister, mama, and papa, and they have their little vehicles or their little push carts or whatever it is that they have. And I still have all 4 of the Muppet Babies ones as well.
Oh, nice.
And so my kids play with those. And it was just the little plastic figure that would just sit on the thing. I did have the Fraggle Rock ones, but oh, I know what it is. No. Okay, forget all that. My favorite were the Looney Tunes characters that would change into superheroes. And so
was that McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's. Yep.
Were they McDonald's?
Yeah. So Bugs
There they
Bunny
are.
was Superman. Daffy Duck was Batman. They had
Petunia
Tasmanian
was,
Devil as the Flash, and
Yeah.
Petunia Pig was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Pig, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. But those
Yeah,
ones were awesome.
Still not best as my Fraggle Rock, but now that you say this, these are number 2. This is
And we still have all of these. They're at my parents' house, and whenever my
no
kids
way.
go to visit, they play with them there. But what about you, Kristin? Do you remember have like a favorite toy? Do you remember?
Yeah, so I was always, and this is probably like a typical like girl answer, but I was always like really partial to like whenever it was like a little plush. So whether that was like all the different Thai animals, I mean, I've always been a big animal lover, wanted to like be a zookeeper when I was a kid.
Nice.
Or like the little Beanie Babies, because like I mentioned, that was like a huge nostalgic factor with my grandma, like collecting them and whatever.
Right.
And to me, somehow like getting a little plushie always felt like you were getting more than like a standard toy. I don't really know why.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I viewed it.
Yeah.
But then I'm also a huge Snoopy fan. I know they've done many renditions of anything Peanuts and whatever. But those are some of the ones that stick out, or anything that's like interactive. I always liked too. Like if it was like a little game or things like that. But yeah, definitely anything plushy. I was always ultra excited about.
Right on. So wrapping up here. Okay. I want to do this new segment that I like to call
Shall We Play a Game?
And so, of course, that's taken from War Games, very popular movie from the 80s.
I got your reference, Jerry.
Yep.
I did not. I thought we were talking about the Saw movies, like Jigsaw. Do you want to play a game?
Oh, geez.
I was like, oh man,
that's a little hardcore for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So it's from War Games, where they actually hack into a computer. It's like a government computer that, and they're playing this what they think is a game, and it's actually the computer that's learning to process like responses to nuclear war and starting Cold War kind of stuff. But in this case, I called it that because I had an AI write a script for us talking about McDonald's on Totally Rad Christmas. So I sent you guys a copy of that script.
Nice.
And I haven't read this. The only thing I've done is highlight your name so you know which where your part is. But I want to read through this and just see what happens here. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So it starts with the opening theme music. Welcome back to Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. I'm your host, Jerry D. Man, I say this exactly. And today we're talking about McDonald's during the holiday season. Joining me are 2 of my friends, Vinnie and Kristin. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Jerry. Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
So when you guys think back to the 80s, what's the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to McDonald's during the holidays?
Oh, definitely those Christmas commercials with Ronald McDonald, Grimace, and Birdie.
Yes, and the special menu items they had during that time of year.
Yeah, those commercials were classic. Do you remember any in particular?
I remember the one where Ronald and Grimace are ice skating and they find the tree that's been blown down by the wind.
And they decorate it with all the fries and nuggets.
Okay. Yes. And how about the one where they're all singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas"?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I remember it had that catchy jingle.
And the one where Ronald and the gang are all in Santa hats.
Those commercials were definitely a big part of the holiday season. And how about the food? Do you remember any of the special menu items they had?
Yeah, they used to have the McRib sandwich during the holidays.
And the eggnog shakes.
The McRib and eggnog shakes. Those were definitely some unique offerings.
You know what else was cool? They used to have the styrofoam cups for the Christmas designs on them.
Yeah, those were the best. I remember collecting them.
It's amazing how these little things can bring back so many memories. What was your go-to meal at McDonald's during the holidays?
For me, it was definitely the McRib sandwich.
I loved the fries and the secret menu strawberry eggnog shakes.
What? Oh, sorry. I can definitely see why those were some popular choices. Thanks so much for coming on the show and talking about McDonald's during the holidays. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in to Totally Rad Christmas. We'll catch you next time. Closing theme music. What?
How creepy was this? He brought up the strawberry milkshake and it talked about the strawberry eggnog. I brought up the styrofoam. And it talked about the styrofoam.
I know, I felt like it was a replay of our conversation, basically.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sleep well tonight. I'm not gonna sleep well.
Like, I don't know about this.
This was awkward.
Your phone is always listening.
Yes, I have questions. Okay, so decorating the fallen tree with fries and McNuggets? Why not? I guess. But,
Definitely
that would be awesome
if
it actually happened. I was about ready to Google it, but
yeah,
I would think getting a Charlie Brown Christmas tree and putting fries and nuggets on it's probably not a good thing because it probably falls more.
Probably. Oh man, but it does make me wonder. What would you guys say would be your happiest memory or moment with McDonald's?
So for me, it is the McLimo, which I already talked about.
Right.
One thing that we haven't talked about are the little, I don't know if you guys remember the little like sugar cookies that they had that were shaped like the characters.
No.
Vaguely do, yeah.
Yeah, big nostalgia moment there. So yeah, those are probably my two biggest. And then just going there as a kid, like I said, after sports practices and having it be like my go-to. But yeah, probably McLimo number one.
Yeah, that would probably be mine if I had that experience. What about you, Vinny?
I know it kind of went over it before, but man, I just dug their stuff at Christmas, right? It's just a trip down memory lane. The toys, you know, I remember getting all the glasses and stuff, but going to McDonald's around the holidays, around Halloween and Christmas, I sound like a fat kid, which I was, but
for the McRib.
Yeah, I never got a McRib. I actually still never had a McRib, but no, I mean this has been like one big nostalgic trip going back there, and it's just like beside that box that you guys talked about, I remember like all those different Happy Meal boxes and toys,
right.
And this was a huge like. It's funny because I sent them to my wife, and I'm only 2 years older than her, and she's like, "I don't remember any of this," and I'm like, "Well, your childhood sucked. I'm sorry." And then,
That's right. Yeah, I was bringing it up to my wife. I'm about 5 years. It's just a little less than 5 years older than my wife, and same thing. She was just like, "Yeah, I mean, I love McDonald's. I don't remember that." Like, okay, fine. No, I mean, those are both fantastic. For me, do you remember when they came out with the pizza?
Vaguely.
No.
They also came out with a hot dog.
Yeah,
point.
They've tried.
It was like
sorts.
McPizza, it was called, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And I'm sure it was probably terrible, but at the time I loved it and I thought it was so cool. I think we only ever had it once, which makes me think that it probably was terrible because I only remember ordering it once and then my parents going back to, the usuals after that. So, yeah. But for me, I just thought it was so cool. I was like, man, you can get a Happy Meal and toys, plus you can get like pizza. Like, this is the best thing ever. I thought McDonald's was like the pinnacle of food. It's terrible. But now we come to my favorite part of the show, which is a little segment I like to call Gag Me with the Spoon. So this is where we do our best impression of our least favorite part. In this case, we can pick one of the commercials or the McDonald Land show or anything McDonald's related. You can go for. It doesn't matter to me, but just kind of set up the scene for us as a guest. So I'll let you all go first. And Vinny, if you want to kind of set the.
I'll take the tone here. My worst is, and I think it's just an all around awful commercial. The Scrooge one. But right when he walks in, he starts fat shaming Santa. So he walks in, and Scrooge comes in, and he goes, "Oh, look who it is! It's the Clauses. Hey, have a McNugget. Don't be afraid. It's only 63 calories." Terrible. Like absolutely terrible. And then it is. Then he badmouthed Tiny Tim. But yeah, that little sketch where he pokes Santa in the belly and he's like, "It's only 63 calories." Yeah, shut up, Scrooge.
Right on. Kristin?
So for me, it was there was a commercial in the 90s called The Snowman, which I discovered during my research. And basically a little girl is building a snowman, and Ronald McDonald kind of appears out of nowhere and tells her, you know what every snowman needs? A friend. And as he says those words, he turns to her and just gives her like this creepy smile. And then the ending scene is the two of them like walking out into the distance together, like out into the woods. And just the way that he turns to her and is like, every snowman needs a friend. And then they just leave together. I was like, oh, full body chills.
It's funny you said that. I saw that one right before we went on. Yes, it's uber creepy. It is.
Yeah. So I thought it was perfect for gag me with a spoon.
Right on. So for me, I picked that McNugget New Year's one actually. And so all the Nuggets or McNugget buddies are saying different things, getting ready for the new year. And one of them, a girl McNugget, I guess, says, "How do I look?" And the boy McNugget says, "Delicious." And I just thought, okay, come on now.
Yeah, I think I saw that one too. And that was one of my top contenders. But
yeah, like, oof, guys. Oh, man. But, G.I. Joe, they taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you guys think is the other half?
If knowing has half the battle, I would have kept all my McDonald's toys in the past because I'm missing them. Like, I'm so missing them. Like, if I'd known back then that I would have been like, oh, it's only a McDonald's toy. And I know I'm 43 years old and I probably shouldn't be playing with toys or worried about McDonald's toys. But if I would have known, if knowing was half the battle, I would have go back and tell myself and be like, save that stuff.
Yeah, for real.
To me, if knowing is half the battle, the other half is staying the heck away from Ronald McDonald, especially when you're building a snowman. And of course, just don't eat too much McDonald's because
that's right. Yeah,
it's not good for anyone.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me of that documentary "Super Size Me" that they did.
Yes,
yeah.
That dude's life was ruined like forever.
I know. That's awful.
Not good.
No. But those are both better than mine. So I said if knowing is half the battle, the other half is just using magic to guilt a kid into staying home with her family. It's been so much fun talking about McDonald's with you guys. But, what do you want to plug? Tell me about anything you got coming up.
Sure. So on Holidays After Dark, my Mardi Gras episode comes out on Tuesday. So excited about that. I do at least one episode for pretty much every major holiday. So I always encourage people to stick around, not just for Halloween and Christmas, but for the whole year to keep the fun going. But yeah, Mardi Gras coming up on Tuesday. So any major podcasting platform, Holidays After Dark, social media at Holidays Podcast. Pretty easy to find, I think. So I'd be honored if you check it out.
Yeah, right on. And definitely go check it out. It's very interesting, very entertaining, and you'd be a fool to miss it.
Well, thank you.
Vinny, any final thoughts?
No, it's good to be back on here again. One of these days, and I know, Jerry, it's been almost a year and a half since I said I'm going to do my own podcast. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get there.
Well, you still got to come back so we can talk Psych, the other Psych Christmas episodes.
Oh, yeah. I'm so Kristin, we're big, that TV show Psych. We're big. I know it's not 80s.
Yeah.
But about 50% of the show is like 80s references. So it's kind of like that we do it. But glad to be back on again. I think I haven't been on since the Very Special Christmas, which was a blast. But I'm looking forward to doing a couple more this year. I see a couple cool topics that came up and I saw, but I was excited about this one, and thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, anytime. You guys are both always welcome. Come on whenever you want. If you think of something 80s or 80s adjacent, we can always go from there. But on that note, let me say again, thank you. And I'll end it with dip into the holiday spirit with something new. McDonald's Holiday Chicken McNuggets. And check us out on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram at Totally Rad Christmas, Twitter at Rad Christmas, Mastodon at Totally Rad Christmas, at mastodon.world, or our Facebook group, Totally Rad Christmas Mall and Arcade, where you can make your voice known to us as well. We post anything and everything 80s or Christmas related. And if you're feeling like getting your kids huggable Baby Kermit, Baby Fozzie, or Baby Piggy, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com, courtesy of Tis the Podcast Elf, Tom Crow. Happy holidays from McDonald's. Later, dudes.
Ho, ho, ho! When you buy McDonald's Happy Meal featuring Santa Claus the movie, you get one of 4 full-color storybooks or coloring books.
Thank you, Santa. Ho, ho, ho!
McDonald's Happy Meal featuring Santa Claus coloring or storybooks.
Love, family, traditions, presents, pumpkins, fireworks, Santa Claus. All make you think of holidays, right? Well, what about murder, heartbreak, gangsters, and witchcraft? Still thinking about holidays? Beginning this February, I will take you on a journey to the lesser-known sides of the holidays, the sides history might try to forget, the celebrations that you might not be familiar with. Oh, and don't worry, I'll be sprinkling in some elements of normal holiday traditions too. After all, even those of us with the dark side still have a special place in our hearts for the Easter Bunny, Valentine's candy, cute jack-o'-lanterns and ghosts, and of course, all things merry and bright. Let's uncover and celebrate the strange and unusual together. I'm your host, Kristin, and this is Holidays After Dark.